When I moved to Australia 15 years ago to take on my role as artistic director of Sydney Dance Company, I was amazed by the amount of young, talented dance students in this country. And I kept wondering, how can we supplement this with a more in-depth experience? And that's how the idea of the pre-professional year came up. I knew that Linda Gamblin was running her own very successful course here in Sydney, and we were both very passionate about rigorous training and creativity. How can we give these young, talented Australian students an opportunity to gain more knowledge alongside a company? So 10 years later, it's been an incredibly fruitful and wonderful relationship.
I think the philosophy and the ethos and the culture at PPY has been cultivated slowly over the 10 years. The philosophy is helping the young people find their personal creativity, their personal agency, autonomy, all those sort of really rich words to understand who they are as a person, of course, and then ultimately the artist that goes to perform on stage and can move people.
When I went into PPY, I had a set of skills that I really wanted to perfect. And I think once I actually entered the course, what I learned was that dance was so much more broad than I ever imagined. There is so much out there in movement practice that I didn't even know existed.
It was just really non-judgmental, beautiful, free space to really be playful and try so many different things on my body. We had so many incredible artists, choreographers, practitioners coming from all across the world, sharing their knowledge.
We have an incredible artistic team, and then we have all our guest choreographers, guest teachers, guest somatic practitioners. The program wouldn't be what it is without them.
One of the things that makes the pre-professional year unique is that it exists along a professional dance company. And, even within a year, the students get to work with more than 30 or 40 professionals. And that's something where they gain so much knowledge and expertise from these industry professionals.
The first moment in the studio and everything that I ever thought about dance was just completely blown out of my mind. Up until that point, I had sort of thought there's only one way and one technique, and if you don't do it that way, everything else is wrong. And it was just the beginning of opening my mind to all the possibilities and ways that you can access things in your body.
The classes that have been facilitated at PPY created such a safe kind of environment where we didn't necessarily have to form our natural bodies in the way of this westernized kind of dance technique. We could kind of still be ourselves and still learn the technique, but in a way that benefits us as young dancers.
PPY helped me interpret ballet as just a tool to reach the end goal for me, which was being a contemporary dancer. And I'm interested in contemporary spaces and contemporary minds, and they absolutely do exist within ballet.
Technique, I guess, it's like a starting point. It's like a base that I really, really value and have valued even more as time goes on.
Bringing improvisation into a technique class, I think that's where the brilliance lies. And then you're moving your mind, not just your body.
The focus on improvisation in the PPY course is one of its biggest strengths, and it's a really unique feature that I think has now changed the landscape of the way people are trained in dance in Australia.
With improv, I thought if I did all my favourite moves, it would just work. But it's really it's like a mindfulness practice almost.
Improvisation has been really helpful in just sort of figuring out what my natural flow is in my body, how can I put that and inject that over the top of set choreography. So if the leg has to be up there, how can I do that in a way that works for my body?
I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing on stage at the moment if I didn't have that improvisational technique. It's this thread of sharing between audience and performer.
It's amazing that we're questioning how dance is taught and how dance is transcribed even. And within PPY, this idea of authenticness is just an embodiment of how to negate this crazy career, because it is a crazy career.
There were so many different career models that I felt I was exposed to. So when I finished, I felt confident that I would at least find one, that worked for me or that started to arise. And then over time, of course, things, you get bigger opportunities and it all sort of grows from there.
Something that's happening more and more 10 years on from the program is that I am actually going to see performances choreographed by graduates of the pre-professional year, and I'm also getting to commission work by graduates of the pre-professional year.
Coming into the studio, we've booked them in for a workshop, or they're coming to choreograph for us, and they're totally the masters now.
It was such an important time in my early on career when I was given the opportunity to choreograph on the 2016 pre-professional year. That was such an invigorating experience.
I am so excited to be one of the new breed choreographers for 2023. It's a massive privilege to be able to make a work that will be presented at Carriageworks with a full-time company, with dancers that work together all the time. That's super, super rare. It'll be an amazing opportunity and I'm so excited about it.
By the end of the year, when we get the opportunity to perform the process, for me, that's when I stop working. I sit back and watch. And I see people on stage being themselves, exploring all of the ideas that we've touched on throughout the whole year.
Synthesizing all the kind of techniques and concepts that I gained from all the artists that visited, and Linda's philosophy, I carry it with me all the time. It informs everything I do, and really down to even just nitty-gritty approach to physicality, being quite simple, stacking of bones, being authentic with yourself and your character, and can't just rely on the movement. Yeah.
It's just such an incredible year of transformation and so many opportunities to just try different things and not see challenges as failures and just grow from everything. So yeah, has completely changed everything I ever thought about contemporary dance, and has really inspired me to continue to be curious and playful.
I see the course doing what it needs to do every single year, and that's to stay contemporary. The integral thread would be finding the one body in the many styles and techniques and methodologies, and bringing them into their own creativity, their own sophisticated decision-making and movement style. It's not a 3-month course or a 1-week intensive, it's a whole year of delving deeply into the art form. And then by the end of the year, you'll see the artist knowing what they want to do, where they want to go, and it becomes an interest of theirs forevermore.